Good day, everybody. Brian here from quantlabs.net. Today is July 10th. We're going to talk about something that I didn't realize is kind of popular on my website, the language of Rust. Another test comes along, and we're going to talk about blockchain. I've always been very fascinated, obviously, with crypto, Bitcoin, and what the like, which I don't really talk about, but from a programming standpoint, this is just a test to see how people like this topic. As I always say, if you're new to all this or if you're liking stuff and commenting, the only way I know is when people either subscribe to the channel, what they see, or specifically and more of comment as well, because that tells me what you want. So at this point, I know Rust is popular, so I'll put this link in the proper blog regarding this. Okay, so here on GitHub, there was a repository created by this guy, and the project is called Chain RS. So as you can imagine, that's a blockchain in Rust. So let's go over the description here. Blockchain implementation written for educational purposes. So you could probably fork this if you see use for this and use it in the up and coming language of Rust. It's an experimental alpha stage. Project main object objective is to maintain enhance understanding of Rust programming fundamentals, best practice by constructing a system that involves distributed and peer-to-peer networking. I find this is important because blockchains are becoming more and more important. I think more and more people speculating on crypto and whatnot. And it's a good learning practice to know this type of technology. I would not be surprised that you'll see trading kind of built around this as well. For me, how will this be done is another question at a much bigger level. And the question is, how do you keep the hackers out? But that's not my concern. But it's just the basics here to get you started on understanding what's in a blockchain and at the same time learning about Rust. All deep work in progress research code. There are lots of rough edges. Some of the code is in need of some cleanup. Packaging, configuration, documentation doesn't exist that much. So I'm going to skip the quick start here, the beginning. You got to also know about documentations. Guys, people like me come in looking at these projects, and if we can't make heads or tails out of what you're trying to do, chances are your project will die. If it's not going to mature, it's not going to grow. So again, what I've said before, this is why commenting documentation is paramount in any of these kind of projects. This kind of project will look great for somebody who might be looking for a job, career to showcase what they've done. And it's probably not been forked, which is the key, and it's been created from the ground up. So they created this, all of it, by themselves. And when you go in and fork it, that uh, doesn't look so great when you're trying to look for a job. You have to start from scratch. Okay, project functionality currently limited and following tasks on the to do to improve it. Feel free to add any ideas or improvements. So you can see here, this really hasn't been touched a whole lot over the last year. I think it was launched in the fall of 2023. So here are the main features. Oh yeah, I'm going to come back to that, didn't I say? So if you're new to blockchain, this is another great area to learn about it, where Bitcoin and whatnot have been built on this type of technology, but it's just been pretty well rebuilt with this project. Two base primitives of the blockchain system: transaction and block. Nodes collect transactions into a block, hash them into a hash tree, scan through the nuance, no once, nouns. I'm a beginner here. Help me out. Values to make the block hash safe, satisfy proof of work requirements. When a miner solves a proof of work, that's that puzzles that the miners go through, it broadcasts the block to network nodes, and if the block is valid, it is added to the blockchain. So includes the mining concept here. First, transactions on the block is the Coinbase transaction that creates a new coin owned by the creator of the block. Node is responsible for processing, validating, and relaying the block and its transaction. A code is distinct on the network for miners and wallets. Let me just mention here about Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin Core, and then when you own your own node on Bitcoin, you're kind of out of the system, but still yet be able to transact on Bitcoin, the blockchain, because you have the ability to privately hold your own Bitcoin on that node. And this can be all done anonymously. And this is pretty well scares all the regulators globally and the banking system, because you're now on a financial blockchain and they don't know who you are. One thing I've noticed is when it comes to cloud providers, up until this year in 2024, anybody could go out and start a VPN, a virtual server, and you didn't have to identify yourself. Now you have to do that each and every time and go through the know your customer process. So that's been cut off. But it's quite interesting that I'm only mentioning this is if you are eventually want to kind of do this privately and anonymously, look into Bitcoin Core node servers. I tried it because you have to replicate the whole blockchain. That could take days, and if you have a fast computer, it probably take hours. But just something that you need to be aware of in the real world on something like Bitcoin. Anyways, so there are three types of nodes. Uh, Central node, other nodes connect to it. It sends data to others. The miner node, obviously, it's kind of replicates the same process as Bitcoin. Gathers transaction and memory pool, and after reaching a threshold, a mine a new block and broadcast to the network. Wallet node sends coins between wallets like SPV node. Um, so this is how other wallets basically work. They just communicate, or basically a window into this wallet node business. And then that's where they control you to get access to that wallet node. They have to know the customer and whatnot. Now, again, I'm not promoting this, just to be clear, from a programming standpoint or an experimentation or research or educational. That's all I'm saying here. If you decide to do this anonymously, do not be in a region where they regulate you. That's all I can tell you. You have to get out and have all your assets out of the entire Western system, we'll call it, to be able to do that sort of thing and participate. But the problem is, you can mine, have all your crypto, but what's the point if you can't use them for anything like buying things? Because you have to have participation of others to be part of that. And of course, where there's the Wild West concept, you'll get all your scammers that come along with it. And that's the danger of it. So sometimes regulation may be in your benefit as well if it's done lately, but we know about that as well. Nodes will communicate with each other with the following messages: block message passing block info from one node another after successful mining; get message, one node requesting block info from another node; data request message, request three types of data: block data, transaction; inventory message sent into the get block or mempool message; TX message sent after successful mining; and the version message, a nodes transfer message. So there's a little wiki here. I think these are external sources here. So you can learn more about that. So this guy looks like he's set up some kind of playground here. I'm not going to get in that, but I'm just very interested in this type of thing, but from a very high level usage. All right, so what I'm going to do in this particular, so this project, let's just make this clear. From this guy's called Chain RS. This one, this playground part of the, and then there's the Rust playground. So this is something different. So let's see. how what this is. This is a repository where I put random code snippets, material doc, and everything that I find interesting while learning Rust. So this guy's learning Rust. This is like a lot of kudos to this guy with a focus on the Web3 domain. So if you're new regarding Web3, another good place to go. Okay, so these are all the different topics I guess he's got, and of course Rust learning resources as well. All right, so coming back to this, uh, yeah, you could go down a huge rabbit hole here, but it's quite interesting. Anyways, here's the quick start. So I'm not really known or really know Rust, but this gives you an idea. Cargo, I guess, is like a package manager. Create your wallet. So the output will be your wallet ID. Print the wallet address or print the address in a wallet. Address, again, that's the wallet ID. Uh, Create the chain. First user will have the Coinbase transaction and Genesis block will store that cargo. Create a cargo run, create, I guess it's the address as well. Print the chain. That'd be quite big, I think. Get balance of the user. And if you were to make this successful, it has to be open source, obviously, like Bitcoin and the Bitcoin source code, the original uh, paper that came out from Satoshi back in what was it, 08, 09, 10, in around there. Send money to from one user to another. This is what's going to scare governments and banks. That line right there. If there was a real Bitcoin out there, or a real alternative, and they made it legal, this is what's going to scare uh, the governments and banks because they can't control you. So yeah, it's quite interesting how a lot of, I think Denmark just kind of rumored to announce that they're going to disallow people to have their own Bitcoin node. There's a rumor on that, I think in the last week. Anyway, so you can see here generally how it works. Um, Project is functionally currently limited. Um, this is really fascinating. Create working chain of blocks, save blocks in a SQL database. Obviously, you're going to have a good, really big time database, like enterprise level, open source one as well. Postgres comes to mind. But that's going to be a big, if that kind of usage was to pick up, you'd have to have something that can really handle it. Set up command line interface, transaction, Genesis block, Coinbase transaction. Set up the wallet. So these are all the features. Implement naive proof of working mining. Send transaction from one account to another of hash of public key as address. Add signature to input access control at time of making. Send transaction signed with a private key. Use a Merkle hash for calculating block fingerprint. Um, Optimize transaction access from current particular block. Currently traverses the block complete chain, which is inefficient. I would think so. And that's one of the other beautiful things about things when it's open source and a blockchain. A good example is probably Ethereum, where Vitalik Buterin's pretty well the founder and the top guy, and he kind of says yes or no, or maybe there's a council there make yes or no on those decisions. But I mean, if it got big, this is how it's done. Add networking layer for communication between clients. Add a caching layer. Restructure the project to create different crates for each functionality. Wow, this is already getting very complicated. Add specific specification for communication protocol. Look uh, at medium gRPC, a separate client to interact with the full node. Wow. Okay, so in the code here, there was also a documentation section as well. Let me just go through and show you the source code here. So this is all the source code here. So you got your wallet code all here to really learn this project, which you can imagine the amount of work put into it. Okay, so let's go into the docs. In here, so this has been updated since last year. So this is his. So he's checking them all off. I guess set up wallet, set up Genesis, da da da. Okay, so he's probably these are his still to do. So he's getting there. Okay. So he's got his analysis. Here's the command. With cargo, will provide following log. There are two blocks. One, Coinbase transact gives creator of the chain 100 tokens. Two, when the user sends 10 tokens to another group and signs that. So this is all uh, beyond my level of paycheck, I guess you could say. Um, and these are the basic requirements of these types of projects. We have a chain log here. Again, let's see how it's been done. So here's the original, I guess the original uh, release date. And yeah, so he's been testing with these test hashes. CLI. So let's see, run the following command. You create your wallet. Okay. Create the first wallet, output success, print the address wallet. Okay, so we list the address, print the chain, simple output in analysis MD, get balance for the user. So this would probably easily work on a CLI environment, command line environment. So it's not really meant for just everybody. Here's the analysis of that log. So we do a print chain, we get a log, there are two blocks. So these are the samples. Okay, so this is what we already looked at. So we have different blocks here, I guess, of the chain. Yeah, so these are all the different blocks and different difficulty, version, height. It's all created the mining process. Must be similar uh to Bitcoin. As I said, um I'm not a expert here. So we have here the message. Nodes will communicate with each other with types of messages: block, get, data message, passing block info from one node another after successful mining, get message, one node requesting block info from another node, block data transaction, inventory sent to get block message or mempool message, transaction sent after successful mining, nodes version transfer message. One thing that needs to be understood is you better have really good security of some kind to prevent hackers from putting in code injections into the SQL and different ways to attack this blockchain. So remember, this is a very primitive code base. So I'm sure these sort of things would need to be added on if this was to kind of take off. But this just gives you an idea of how the blockchain works. So do we look at this one here? Yeah, we looked at that. So here, I should say he has a reference here of how blockchain, Bitcoin works on the peer-to-peer. So they must have kind of replicated that, I guess, somehow. Again, I'm not going into the details of it. Usually I would, but just interesting things how this is added. So here on the networking, there will be three types of nodes we already talked about. Other nodes connect to it and send other uh, data to nodes. That's a central node. The minor node gathers transactions in memory pool, and after reaching a threshold, a new block and broadcasts to the network. Yeah, so we've already gone through the send coins between. wallets like an SPV node, which is CS20 Bitcoin for developers. Um, yeah, so there's some details there. All right, so let's go back here under networking, and then we have this wiki. Okay, so not much here. It contains the links. So Bitcoiner SV, Merkle implementer concept, Merkle tree, size of the okay, so nitty gritty here. And then there's a Bitcoin book, maybe he's recommending. Bitcoin book, which is, what is it? Mastering Bitcoin is a technical that explains what Bitcoin is and how it works. So, yeah, so this guy has used this concept from Bitcoin uh, from from uh, from this Bitcoin book. So it looks fairly recent here. Okay, so I'm sure there's a need for a lot of maintenance to make this really a go of it, but it's quite fascinating. Anyways, there's a couple of things I think people can take away from this when it comes to projects like this. First, we know that Bitcoin is a really good alternative financial resource for transactions. This is just another um, stripped down version of that and done in a more popular and fast growing language. So that's right there in itself worthwhile to look into for career potential. If you're interested in learning more about Bitcoin, but doing it on your own and learning by building on your own, that's another benefit here. So there's a lot of good outcomes that come from this by going through it as well. So I thought I'd just introduce this to people to check it out. As for my stuff, at quantlabs.net, I just want to make sure people know what's going on here on the website. If you're used to actually for just trading simply, you can go to quantlabsnet.com as I've got here, click on the Learn tab and just learn what I'm doing from a TradingView perspective. This will give you a 45-minute video of TradingView and highlight why I like it. Anyways, regarding the websites, I am transitioning from my older domains of quantlabs.net, quant-labs.net, and what's going to happen is we will be trying to find a way to forward those visitors to those websites to the new quantlabsnet.com. The emails is the important part. So if you're trying to reach me on anything at quantlabs.net, realize that those are probably coming to an end as of today, July 10th, 2024. Also, I'm trying to push out just so people know that there is a mobile edition of this, not native though, not a native app, but you can use because our site is hosted on Wix now, and they do have a app called Wix Spaces, so you can find our website on there, um, and you'll be able to use your phone through the Wix Spaces app and look for quantlabsnet.com. You should find it and then interact semi directly instead of a browser, but natively in an app, Wix Spaces to do that as well. Um, Ultimately, I do want to get my own native app that can be downloaded on both uh, Apple iOS and the Google Android. There is a capability there, but it's an expensive option. So again, for us to grow, to get to that point and to show that there's a demand for this, um, what we need to do is we need to see people again share, like, comment on the YouTube channel, show that you like this stuff. More importantly, come into the environment here at quantlabsnet.com opt into our email, and eventually get our product because I'm experimenting now on the demand and need for something like TradingView. As I said, if you want to set up your own easy path to automated trading, auto trading through TradingView, yes, it's very possible. We also have our own analytics, so you know what you're buying and can buy. For instance, Barrick gold maybe starting to move. As another hint, something called sand or symbol sand for gold, a gold player. So knowing that you can set up your automated trading with no coding needed on TradingView with our up and coming strategies to take advantage of these. And in order to do that, we got to get people signed up to become live paying customers. So once we get enough people, then we can build out a real community with both the native app through the quantlabs.net.com. Uh, we can also uh, host our own videos using Wix. Obviously, we got to be good boys and girls following their policies, which I mean, no politics and all that nonsense, and no social identity stuff to stay above board. We're also looking at we got the groups sort of set up, and hopefully we can get that growing. And more importantly, I think with because it's Wix is an all-in-one solution from a web hosting perspective, so I'd be able to do online video or live Zoom-like sessions on through Wix, and it's easily done through our website at quantlabsnet.com. So that's the whole point of this. And more importantly, which I'll be working on over the next day or so, to introduce the service that will change people's lives quite quickly on setting up automated trading businesses, I guess, that started the Ernie Chan's book back in '08. And that's what got me started in all this back in that time frame to run your own auto trading business. And that can all be done through TradingView, as I said. And everything's all done in the background. You don't have to really do anything. I don't want to sound like an infomercial saying it'll change your life and they'll be easy. I don't like doing that. But the truth is, it's very, very possible. Again, you don't need to be a tech head to do it. You don't need to be uh, somebody to go down that hard path unless that's where you want to go in terms of career. So it is possible to get all this set up. This is what I'll be putting a video out on and the service I'll provide. I mean, there's some conditions I have to protect myself. And basically, I'll be able to start and get you launched and ready to go to start your own algo auto trading business with no coding needed. And the only thing you need to do is virtually uh, change maybe two lines in a TradingView Pine script strategy you may like. I'll give people access to mine. And as I said, I'll be focusing on new Pine script strategies. And I just bring you in, invite you into that strategy. And at the same time, that code will be in there where you just plug it in to the service that I've been using for the last 2 months to enable the auto trading uh, feature. And that's the game changer. And again, that's all done through TradingView and a third party service. Um, the service does support all the popular stockbroker, uh, stockbroker uh, brokers out there. The one I'm using is Interactive Brokers. I use that because I plan to travel. If you're on something like Robinhood and you decide to travel and use your setup outside the US, you probably get cut off by uh, Robinhood because you're outside of the US. Whereas Interactive Brokers supports over, I think it's 120 countries. So you will not run into that. That's why I use Interactive Brokers was one of the big reasons outside of many others. The other big thing is the crypto support. There is crypto support using Coinbase. Many of you may have known me to crash Coinbase. Um, Funny enough, I fooled around with the Coinbase support and I was quite impressed with it. So I won't say Coinbase is 100% in my good books, but it's a lot better than what it was. And because of this, you'll be able to auto trade using Coinbase for crypto trading as well. And I do think that this same service is going to support Kraken as well, so that'll be even better. Um, so again, these are really good times to get in on this. Um, and your investing is not going to get any easier, any better. The big thing to take note from this is two big things. Um, my YouTube channel has been growing quite quickly in the last week or so, with our video views going into the couple hundreds now, which is a big deal. As a result, I'm only focusing on the nerdy stuff like I've just put in the topic in this video. I know there's people, actual non-tech programmers, watching this, and are somewhat impressed. I can see it in the comments, thanks to people recognizing that, thanks to them. And as a result, uh, what's happening is I'm using that type of topic to bring people in to my ecosystem on Wix. And I'm being completely transparent here. What people need to understand is this is a new domain. I said this a while back. This is like a brand new website, for me, and a brand new, call it website relaunch. I've already talked about that. So that's where everything's going to go. I'm going to test more on the TradingView need. I do know on YouTube that there is a need, and some of my videos, surprisingly, in the last year, have gotten a little bit more popular because of the topic of trading, TradingView auto trading. So that's what I'm going to focus on over the next little bit. I'll still talk about the tech nerd stuff, trying to get people interested in that. But as I said, there are people that are coming in, that are not technical, and they're just maybe curious on why this stuff is does very well. And as a result, those are the people that I can help. Um, Going back to the setting up of the auto trading, um, one thing that needs to be understood is it's I can't do that forever. Um, so I'll be very limited on what I can do for people. I have courses now to help people get there. The support of this third party service will most likely help you, but it won't be as easy as like I set it up for you. You can't get any easier than that. And I'll bring out a new video on that to focus on that in the service. It won't be a cheap service. I'll be blunt with you, because it's a bit of work. As I said, it's risky for me to do it. Um, but I'm willing to help people that are highly motivated to get that done. Because once this is set up, you're set up for life, and you don't have to be a technical programmer or even be technical to get this launched. And everybody wants their auto trading setup or auto trading business, whatever you want to call it, done for them. And here's the opportunity. As I said, it's not cheap, but this will be really meant for people that are highly, highly motivated and take what I do seriously, believe what I'm doing seriously, and that's who it's going to be for. And after that, I don't think I'll be continuing to run that service, or it'll be very, very, very limited and very, very expensive because it's the way it goes. And do it for everybody at a very low cost. So we'll leave it at that. Again, if you want to know more, you got to get on my email list. That's the only way I'm communicating now. Uh, I don't communicate any other way. Um, and you got to get in there. You got to show me that you're serious as well, and you're motivated to accomplish this. Because as I said, we got now videos going into the hundreds per video, per view, and there's a lot of people sitting on the sidelines wanting to have all this set up, but it does cost time, it does cost money to get it set up. And I will tell you this: the videos I've been watching on how, if you're not properly set up financially, if you have a portfolio, you have a very high chance of getting wiped out financially. You've seen the videos on the crisis of real estate. This is the first probably in a long time since 2008. It'll be a lot worse. I got out of the housing market the last couple of weeks, so I'm sitting 100% liquid now. I don't have things to anchor me, and I feel pretty good about it because I also got rid of the real estate associated costs of if it's a condo, a house, you got costs that go with that as well. And everything's going to tank. Everything's going to drop. I live probably in one of the most speculative cities in the world, the biggest real estate bubble known as Toronto, Canada, and it's ready to pop, and it's already popping. So I'm glad to get out, and I'm making the early stages to get out of the West as well, as you can tell by my commentary in this video. So be aware, be cognizant, pay attention. If you're serious about what I'm trying to offer here, I can't do anything more than that. Other than that, thanks for watching. Have yourselves a good day, and I hope you enjoy this video. And check out that project from this guy here, Chain RS. And thanks to this guy for making the effort. These kind of guys are the ones that get real good jobs. Over and out.